Hi. So this video is going to be a combination of a reading vlog of Practical Magic by Alice Hoffman. I'm also going to be comparing the book to the movie, and I will be in depth comparing it, so this will be very spoilerly because, you know, I really like reading a book and then watching the adaptation. I know some people don't like doing that because it bothers them how different it is, and don't get me wrong. Sometimes it does bother me how different they are. But other times I think it's really fun to compare them and see what changes they made and how that changed how the story feels. Because you can make changes and still have the essence of the original story there even within the changes. And so I think it's really fun to compare. And so I'm gonna be doing that for Practical Magic, one of my spooky books on my TBR. In my fall reading recommendations TBR video, I mentioned that the movie is early 2000s, and I was wrong. The movie's actually from 1998, but I still stand by that it feels like early 2000s. I've watched the movie a couple times now, and I did rewatch it this week in preparation for starting this book. So the movie is fresh in my mind, and I'm gonna start this book today, and then we're gonna talk about how similar they are, because I think that's fun. So here's the book. I got my dog, I got one of my spooky blankets, I've got a spooky outfit on. Once again, Book Babe Designs. This is another one of her releases from this year. It's really, really cute, and it says something on the back. So again, love her. I also have another one of her bookmarks out in this book. She did a whole series of these bookmarks, and I have all of them. So this is the fall one. I thought that'd be cute for this book. I'm also running out of Halloween bookmarks because I'm reading more than one book right now. I'm gonna start this book now. Wait, a recap of what this book is about. Okay, so Practical Magic is about this family of witches, the Owens family, and I think it follows two sisters, and they have the family has a curse on it. And yeah, the movie is really fun and lighthearted, and even though it has some dark topics in it, the movie makes them kind of fun. So I'm wondering how the book does it, because I'm kind of feeling like the movie took it in a different direction, but we will see after I start reading it. So yeah, that's what this book is about. So from what I know about the book, based off the movie, it follows two Owen sisters, Gillian and Sally. And the movie starts when they're kids. So there's this little beginning part that starts with telling the story of Maria Owens. And she was the first witch of the family, and she cursed the rest of the family. Basically, she got burned by love, and she did this curse so that the women in her family would never feel that pain she felt from her love. But the curse turned into the women in the family, if they fall in love, their love dies. That's what the curse turned into. And so the Owens women never really have men because they die. So the two main characters, Sally and Gillian, they are raised by their aunts because their parents died. In the movie, it doesn't say. Basically, their dad dies and their mom dies because she loved him so much, she dies. And so they're orphans, and they are raised by their aunts. In the book, their parents die because they went on a second honeymoon and it caught on fire or something. It didn't really say. It just said it had went up in smoke. And so the first part of the movie is the story of the curse, and then them growing up. And it sprinkles in little details about the magic and how the town feels about the family, and how the sisters are different from each other. And then that's the beginning of the movie. So the beginning of the book also is similar. It starts with, the first part is called Superstition. So that's the first section. So it talks about the curse from Maria Owens, and then it talks about the sisters, and it describes how they look. And like everyone, I have a pet peeve when the movie characters don't look like the book characters. But Gillian is described as having blonde hair, and her personality is really wild and whatever, and Sally has really dark hair, and she's more reserved. She's the motherly kind. And in the movie, Gillian is played by Nicole Kidman, and Sally is played by Sandra Bullock. So based off the description of the sisters already, I'm liking that the movie like kept with that. So that's cool. And it like describes their personalities as them as kids and them as adults is like the same. And so I like that they kept with the characters like personalities. And obviously the book is going to have more detail. So that little section in the book is longer than the intro in the movie and more detailed, but I feel like the movie did a good job of like summarizing the curse and who the sisters are and how magic plays into their lives in the town in like a very quick summary. So like the book has like details of like the kids, like in 4th grade this happened, in 5th grade this happened, and this happened with their cat, and then oh, there was a story of this woman, and like from start to finish what happened to her. Like it lasts a few pages, and it's just them seeing how people treat them and how love plays into people's lives when magic is involved. And it's interesting. I am enjoying seeing the detailed version in the book and comparing that in my mind to the movie, which is like just a quick little summary of the kids growing up and like learning it. And I think the movie did a good job of summarizing that section of the book. So yeah, that's the first part, and that's where I'm at right now. So, it's been a few days since that last clip. Life has happened. I was busy. Since then, I've gotten a haircut and I've dyed my hair. So we're just gonna like not pay attention to the fact that my hair is different than that last clip. So I have read a little bit more Practical Magic. I haven't read as much as I would have liked, but I do have some more thoughts to give. First of all, it's like it doesn't really have chapters, which is kind of weird. It has like sections. So like the first section is called Superstition, and then Premonitions. And like each section is like 60 or 70 pages. Clairvoyance. So like it's just like sections are not chapters. It's also written like a little weird. It feels like someone telling a story. So there's very little dialogue. Like it'll be like pages will go by before there's ever dialogue, because it's just like talking about their lives, and when there's dialogue it's like 1 or 2 lines, and then it'll just continue telling the story without dialogue. So it very much feels like someone's sitting there like telling you a story, which is like kind of an interesting vibe, because it's kind of like a little magical fairy tale almost. I don't dislike it, but I also like, I'm someone that likes dialogue, and if when like in between dialogue sometimes I get bored, so I'm having to adjust to reading a book that has very little dialogue. So that's just like on the writing. More on like the differences between the book and the movie. And the movie, so there's like there's like 2 sisters, and they grow up, and then the wild child goes away, and like her responsible older sister stays at the house with their aunt. And so it shows like the older sister Sally, it shows her with the aunt, and she meets a guy, and they fall in love, and they get married, and they have kids, and then he dies because of the curse. And so she moves back in with her aunts with their daughters, because she's like really depressed and she needs help raising her kids. It like parallels when her and her sister had to go live with their aunts, except for she didn't die, she was there with them. And so that's where the movie like kind of picks up. Like that's like all that is like a narrator telling it, and it's like showing you. And then this is where the movie picks up. It's like she's living with her aunts. Her sister comes to visit her and like gives life back to her, because she's kind of just like depressed and not doing anything. Her sister leaves again, and then that's when like the plot starts. Well, in the book, her sister's just like on the phone with her, and like after a while she eventually heals from her depression of losing her husband, and she takes her kids and leaves the town. Like she's like, I need to get away from the aunts. I can't be in this house. I can't be around magic. I can't be in this town having people look at me like this. And she takes them and they move. Explains like how they're like living somewhere else, and people view them like normal people, and they have friends, and they have like neighbors that talk to them and whatever. And then now the kids are like teenagers, and in the movie they are like children the whole time. They're like 8, 10, like I don't know. I feel like that's a big difference for them to not be living in the town, and for the kids to be a different age, because they like sort of played a role in the movie, not like as much as like the 2 main sisters, Gillian and Sally. So that was an interesting difference. Also, like the big thing that happens in the movie that like is the plot, well there's like multiple plots, but like is basically Gillian's boyfriend dies. In the movie, Sally goes to visit Gillian because she's like in trouble, because like the boyfriend's beating her, and the boyfriend like kidnaps them, and they end up killing him. They like drug him, but they like give him too much and he dies. So then they have like a dead body, and they bring it home with them to the aunt's house, and then they like try to bring it back to life using like bad magic, and then they have to kill him again because he's like evil when they bring him back. And so they're trying to like cover that up. Like that's the whole movie, is then like trying to cover this up, and then there's like the bad magic is still in him, and it's like this whole thing. In the book, her sister Gillian kills her boyfriend Jimmy and then brings him to Sally, and she's like, hey, help me, I just killed him. So it's there's differences from the movie to the book, and I'm still trying to decide how I feel about the differences, because I mean obviously the book came first, but I watched the movie first, and it's always kind of weird to watch the adaptation first and then go back to the book, because like obviously this is a source material, so like the movie does it differently, but to me it's like I saw the movie first, I'm like, oh, the book is different, and it's just kind of like a weird feeling to try to like see in your head like, oh, this is the source material, this is the original thing, the movie changed things, how does that change how the story makes you feel, or how the story feels itself? Yeah, so that's my update. I have not read as much as I'd have liked to, so I'm just gonna spend some more time reading, and then maybe I'll have another update.
Are you chewing in my sweatshirt? Yeah, no, don't do that.
What a great quote. Tall, dark, handsome, and dead. That's a new one. Okay, so it's a couple hours later. I've been reading on and off. I'm over halfway now. There are a lot of differences between the book and the movie at this point, but I feel like the same feeling is still there. Similarities, okay? They buried the boyfriend's body in both of them, and like weird things have been happening ever since then because he's like kind of like haunting them. That's about it. They're in Sally's house where she like moved to another town. They're not in the aunt's house. And the aunt's house is like the original like Maria Owens. It's like her house. So yeah, they're in Sally's house like in a different town, and the weird stuff happening is like different. It's not like the same kind of like haunting stuff. And then the like Sally's daughters being older does play a different role in it because they have their own little plot lines as teenagers and like coming of age and realizing they're becoming women and the attention they get from men, and that is playing into it. And a big difference in the book is that Gillian is getting like a love story versus in the movie Sally has like a love story, and both of them are significant because Sally's love story is like learning how to love again despite losing her husband, despite there being a curse on the family. Gillian learning to love is that she's never really had that before. She's very wild and go with the flow and just does what she wants. So she's like been with a lot of men, but nothing is really stuck and nothing has really meant anything to her. Especially her last relationship, like with Jimmy, he was abusive. So there's this like man in town and he's like pursuing her, and she like kept putting him off because of Jimmy, but she eventually said yes, and he's really great to her, and it like is describing like the differences between him and Jimmy, and it's just really nice to see her like discovering what it's like to be loved and be in a safe relationship. So that's something I'm liking. Of course, I like in the movie like Sally finding someone. I enjoy that too. But also the book is a bit darker, a bit deeper than the movie. The movie like spun the story to be like kind of lighthearted and fun and funny and whimsical. And the book does not have that spin. It does still feel like a little whimsical the way it's like a story being told, but it's definitely different. And I mean, I do like the book. I think I like the movie more, but only because the movie is like such a feel good thing and the like rewatchability is really high for the movie for me. And like so far the book doesn't give me that feeling. I'm enjoying it, but it's not like, it's like cozy, but it's not as cozy as the movie. And I think that's why I like the movie so much. It just feels so nice to watch. So that's my update. I'm still sitting here. We've gotten up a few times, but Siri's here and Bailey is under the blanket with me. And we're just chilling. So I'm gonna read some more and see what happens now. So it's a little while later, and I sort of take back what I said. I only have like 20 or 30 pages left. I'm almost done. And it's weird how different, but also the same it is. Okay, in the movie, I would say like the main plot is them killing Jimmy and then covering it up and like weird stuff is happening. And then while that's happening, there's like other storylines happening, like between the sisters, between like mother, daughter, with aunts, with the love interest, and like other stuff is happening, but it's all centered around the Jimmy plot. And in the book, it felt like page 70, I think, is when Gillian showed up with dead Jimmy. And then like by the half, I don't even know at what point they buried him and then weird stuff was happening. And then it was like this, they buried him in the backyard. This like plant grew and then like really grew because it was like him. And then they like cut the plant down and it was like fine after that. And then it was just like, I don't know how many pages went by and like Jimmy was like not a thing anymore. And it was just like the daughters having their plots and like Gillian having her love story. And I was like, that's weird that like that was only a plot for like a quarter of the book. But then a plot from the movie happened in the book. In the movie, the like Jimmy plot happens like the whole time, you know? And then right around when weird stuff starts happening, this detective shows up named Gary and he's investigating. He's trying to find Jimmy because of like criminal stuff. And he knows that like Gillian was dating him and he like tracks her through like a letter Sally sent. So he finds like Sally and Gillian's there. And so he's investigating because like he wants to find Jimmy because Jimmy's like a bad guy and he wants to like arrest him. Well, you know, surprise, surprise, these two nice women killed him. Anyway, so like he's there like most of the movie and then in the end he like finds out they killed him and he just like does something with the report where he's like, oh, Jimmy's gone, and like he doesn't turn them in or anything because it's like they got rid of a bad guy. So less than 100 pages from the end of the book, Gary shows up. And first of all, there are like pages and pages talking about like Gary's childhood and him in college, and I'm just like, who's Gary? And then it starts talking about him investigating and I'm like, oh, Gary, that's the detective. And that's the person that Sally has like a love story with in the movie. She like falls in love with the detective that's investigating them. So in the book, Gillian and Sally are both getting like a love interest. I mean, okay, I don't know yet that Sally will fall for him in the book, but I'm thinking she will because we're getting both their points of view. Because this book kind of like just, it's all third person, so it jumps around point of view, and it's just like a few pages will be one person point of view, and then it'll just switch to someone else, and you can like hear their thoughts or whatever. Which normally I don't like writing like that when you like it just switches randomly and it's just like everyone's like thoughts, but it works for this. But anyway, we're getting both Gary and Sally's points of view of them like meeting each other, and they both like are just drawn to each other. So that's why I think they're gonna have a love story. I'm enjoying it. And I only have like 20 or 30 pages left, so I'm probably gonna finish tonight. I'm probably gonna give it like a day or something to like collect myself and then make a final opinion before I give my official review of the book. And I guess official opinion on how the book compares to the movie, because that is the point of this video. So yeah, I'm glad I've had a lot of time to sit and read today because it's been nice just diving into this book, being around my annoying cats and my lovely dog who's still asleep next to me. He is just so precious. Okay, I'm gonna go finish this book now. Okay, bye. Okay, so I think I'm ready to give my final thoughts. on Practical Magic. First, I'm going to talk about the endings of the book and the movie. So in the movie, since the movie takes place at the aunt's house, the town plays a role in the movie. And so at the end, all the women in the town come together to help them get rid of Jimmy's spirit. And so it changes the way the town thinks about the Owens. So at the end of the movie, it ends on Halloween night and the town has gathered to like applaud them as they jump off their roof. It's like a little spooky little witchy ritual thing they do every Halloween. And then Gary is there and like Sally walks up to him and it's like, oh, they have a happy ending. The town is happy with them. Like Gillian stayed even though she's like never really spent much time at the aunt's house and she's been an adult. It's like a nice little ending. The book ending, they call the aunts to come to Sally's house to help them get rid of Jimmy. And so it's the aunts, it's Sally and Gillian, and it's the two daughters, and all of them together work to get rid of Jimmy. So both the book and the movie have a group of women coming together. So the whole book takes place over the summer. And then the very end is at Thanksgiving. And Gillian ended up marrying the guy she was with. And Sally takes the kids to the aunt's house for Thanksgiving. And Gillian and her man go with them. And Gillian hasn't been back to that house in 18 years. So it's really significant that she feels like she can go back there, you know? And Sally, even though she goes visit the aunts every summer, they don't go there for holidays. So it's really significant that they're all together for Thanksgiving. And so they're all there to celebrate the holiday together, be thankful that they're like a family. And Gillian had meddled and called Gary and he shows up there. And so Sally also gets a happy ending. So like they're all together, they all have happy endings. Like it's a nice little ending for the book. That's how they both ended. Now, my thoughts for the book. While I was reading the book, I wasn't the biggest fan. At one point I was like, I'm only reading this to like have read it to get to the end to be able to compare it to the movie because I like the movie so much. Like I just wasn't a big fan. But by the time I got to the end, I ended up really liking it. Like looking over the whole book as a total in my head, I really, really liked the book. I don't know. There's just something about this story and these characters. I think it's one of the instances where I like the book and I like the movie and they're different, and I don't think I can really pick a favorite. I think they're just gonna like live separately in my mind and be like its own thing. Like I said, like I really like the movie and I want to rewatch it and it has a fun feeling to it. By the time I got to the end of the book, I think I really like the book. Like I think I like the way the story goes in the book better, because I think I like each character having their own side plots and I like getting to know each character and seeing their development and seeing how it fits into each other's development. And you just don't really get that in the movie. And I like that each of them got their own love story, and I like they came together at the aunt's house again. Like they ended up back at the Owens house in the end, even though they like left it. And there's just so many things about the book that I really, really like. So like I think I like the storyline of the book better, but I think I like watching the movie better just because it like feels good. So like it's just like hard to compare them actually. I like them both, and I think they're just gonna live separate in my mind, and that's just the best way for me to think about them. I ended up really enjoying this, but it did drag a little in the middle, so I'm thinking 4 stars for a rating because overall I really liked it. It was entertaining to read, but it did drag, and there are things like I didn't like love about it, like the way it was written. I had to get used to like very little dialogue, like sections not chapters, like telling like a story. Like it was just like different. I think I would like to read more of the books in this series. I don't know how soon I'll get to that. It definitely won't be this year. I don't even know if I'll do it next year, but it is something like I'm interested in. So yeah, this overall was a good experience, I think. I think it was fun comparing the two. So that's Practical Magic by Alice Hoffman. I had a good time filming this. I hope it was all right to watch it. I know my kitties were in this one a little bit more, and that's fun. And yeah, thank you for watching, and maybe you'll watch another video of mine. Bye. Okay, Bailey, is that where you want to sit? Is this where you want to sit, lovely? Okay, so just from... There's no need for that, cats.
Ember. It's just a wall, honey. Cypher, are you jealous? Come on, baby. Okay, bye. I don't know if I can do this with you sitting there.
I got an AirPod in.
Just
You
one.
want me to go to my room?
No.
I can. If you need me to, I understand.
No.
I understand if you need me to.
I want to spend time with you.
Well, yeah, but how long is it gonna take you to film this?
Like 2 minutes.
Yeah, so it's fine.
Okay.
I love you.
I love you.